All right, welcome back. So in this video, we are going to finish the authentication part of our Blogify app, and we'll do everything that we need to do to finish it particularly, right? So we'll have login, logout, or register buttons up here, and we'll have a middleware to prevent us from adding a blog or adding a comment if we are not currently logged in, right? Great. So let's just start. All right. And so I have my header close.ejs and app.js open now. And the reason behind that is I'm going to first add the links in the navbar, right? So the navbar is inside the header close.ejs. Great. So here, first of all, if you think about it, we don't need to display all three at all points of time. We need to display login and register if we are not logged in, and we need to display logout if we are logged in. So how do we actually determine if we are not logged in or if we are logged in, right? So that is basically done through something known as rec.user, which Passport makes us. So what Passport does is whenever you are when you install Passport and when you do all the authentication thing, then inside every function, wherever you have something known as this rec, not the EJS file, let's open some route up. So where you have a rec, you can simply use rec.user to access the current user, right? This will contain all the details about the current logged in user, right? This is done by Passport. So this is something we can use all the time. So we can just write rec.user wherever we want to access the current user. However, the only limit to this is that this needs to be inside a function which has rec as an argument, because there's no rec here. So how can we use rec.user, right? So a lot of words, I'll simply just tell you what we need to do. So in here, we need to do app.use, and I'll explain what I'm doing here in just a moment. So inside here, instead of something, we'll have a callback, right? A function basically. And let's, so this needs to be this. So what I'll do in here, I'll do res.locals.current user is equal to rec.user. What did I do here? So basically res.locals.current user, what it does it, and now inside all the files inside this, right, which are being called from app.js, we have something known as current user. So we can just write current user wherever we want, and we'll get the details of the current user. So we can just write current user, of course inside EJS tags here, but current user will always give us the details of the logged in user, right? And then we have to just do next to tell it that this is all that we need to do in this particular function, right? So what we're going to do here now is we can just do that. First of all, let's just add the things, right? So I'll add that above this add post. So this will actually be a simple btn, a btn small. We'll not give it any background, right? And we'll duplicate this. So href will be /login, and this will be login, register, /register. Great. So now we have our A tags here, and first let's refresh. So we have login and register here, and even though they're black, we'll change them in just a moment. But we do have them here, right? So that's great. And now let's do the thing that, okay, we'll add the logout first too, and let's do great. But currently we have all these showing up at once. We do not want that. So here we are going to use the current user, and you will now see what the current user was all about. That's why I rushed into this. So I'll do if current user, if not current user. So basically, if nobody is logged in, the current user variable will have the value of null. So what we can do is we can do not. So basically, if the value of current user is null, means nobody is logged in, this register and login need to be shown, right? So I'll now put another EJS tag, and this will be closing, and this needs to be opening. Great. And in here I'll do else So if he's currently logged in, we want to show him the logout option, right? Great. Now let's refresh. I don't actually remember if I was logged in or logged out. So I can see I was logged out, and now I can click on login here. I'll log into John Doe 1. Password will be password as usual. I'll log in, and you see now I have my logout button here, which I can click to then log out again. I get login and register again, right? So that's done, and let's just style these three in a to make them white or something. So we'll give a new class and we'll do auth control. I mean, we could select them in some way. I know I've not thought about it, but I don't want to use a very general kind of selector so that it like changes something in the future if we ever need, right? So all of them has have a class of auth control. And now what we can do is we can go to our style sheets, and inside the main.css we can do dot auth control color white. Refresh. Now we see I have a white login and register button, which on hovering also turn like black. So I think that's good enough. We could work with that, or we could change that. Let's just let it be like this. Great. So now we have our login and register thing in the navbar too, and we can forget about that. Excellent. Now the last thing we need to do for this particular authentication is we need to add a middleware, right? So for that, I'm going to go into, so I'm currently going to make middleware in two places, which is not a good option, but it's just two places, so I'll do it right now. So basically what I have to do inside the routes, where are the routes? Here they are. I'll go into the blogs.js, right? And I'll make my is logged in function. Right? And this needs to be rec res next. So whenever you have a middleware, you will always have rec res next in there, right? That's always done. So then I'll have if request dot is authenticated. I have to do return next. This is what we did in the authentication demo video too, so I hope this will be clear. But I'll just explain that if we are currently authenticated, this will be true, and then we will be returning next, meaning you can continue with whatever you are doing. Otherwise, we'll do res dot redirect / login. Great. So now we have our middleware made, and we just need to use it wherever we are making a new blog, right? So it will be two places. This is logged in. So let's try that out. The server hadn't refreshed yet. So now I'm currently logged out. You can see I have login and register options here. And if I click on add post, it redirects me to login, right? Excellent. So this is working. So you might think that now we can't add a blog if we are not logged in. But let me remind you, we can also send requests through Postman. So if somebody sends a request through Postman to this particular route, router.post / blogs, he will be able to create a new blog without being logged in, right? So for that, we just need to do one thing. We have to do the middleware here too. So now, even though this cannot be accessed from the browser if this is already restricted, but now nobody can send the request through Postman too. And by this, now we have made it impossible for someone to add a blog without being logged in. And now I'll log in just to test it out. Great. And now if I click on add post, it lets me add a blog, right? Great. And I'll have to do a similar thing in the comments too. So I'll copy this function. Although copying and pasting is never good practice, and there is an alternative to this, but we can leave that for later when we need some more middlewares, right? So all that I need to do is, these are the only routes that there are, and I'll have to do is logged in here and is logged in here. So let's check if this is working. I'll refresh the page. And you can see I'm currently logged out, right? So if I try to go to some blog, I click on read more and I click on add a comment, it redirects me to login, right? So that's done, and password will be password. And it redirects me to the explore page. Now I can click on read more. I can click on add a comment and it lets me do it. Great, so that is working too. And by this, we have finished the authentication part of our app for now. And now whenever we are adding a new feature, we'll keep authentication in mind, right? Great. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.